I got just some water in a Henny, drink it up and let the semi shoot a pop. You niggas all up in the face, blood all up in the lake. I wanna see a wake die, they don't wanna wave by. Creep when I came by, teeth like a canine, bleed through your Levi. Weed from the east side, eat when the beast hot. Teeth from the teapot, aim from the treetop, bang to your knees pop. Skirt in the Nissan, swerve in the 3 cops. You just a bird in a beehive, you just a cold in a room full of germ, nigga. I said all of my idols and favorite rappers ain't been rhyming a lot. What the fuck happened to Jay Electronica? I wonder if he still got it or not. Whatever happened to Elzai? Whatever happened to Meth? What happened to Beans? Whatever happened to Lauren? What happened to Banks? Tell me what happened to Blick? What the fuck happened to Most? What happened to Missy? Nigga, what happened to Ghost? Whatever happened to Q? What up with Common? Where the fuck, where did they go? Tell me what happened to Buttons? What about Luda? I hope they ain't losing it now. Hope they get back to the music, cause I need some new shit. I'm sick of these new niggas out.
Welcome into the One and Only podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are back again.
Man, it's been a while.
It's been a bit of a hiatus. We took a bit of a 4-month hiatus, but guess what? We wanted to come back and enjoy ourselves again, talking to y'all on the podcast waves. You can find
one less person this time.
Oh yes, one less person, but he'll be back later on in our next podcast. But you still have me, the Tony, the one and only, and of course we got our main man Mallett here as well. Ferda boys, Mallett, how are you now?
Oh, not so bad, and you?
Pretty good. That's right on. So we're gonna be going over some NFL talk, some UFC talk. Mostly with the NFL, we're gonna be going over some of the stuff about the New England Patriots, how they're going throughout the season, and I'm also going to cover my Bears and pretty much see the turmoil of the Chicago Bears.
Damn, both your teams are screwing up in football, Tony.
Jeez.
The Florida State Seminoles ain't no better.
Well, we were going to get into the college football talk as well. We'll get into college football, so we'll have NFL, UFC, and college football talk. So. But right off the bat, let's kind of let the people know what we've been doing over the past 4 months.
Softball.
softball. Yeah, that's pretty much.
How many tournaments we playing this year, Tony? Upwards of 20, 25?
Oh, jeez.
If not more.
Within the day span, yeah. That's a lot of days, man. A lot of traveling, I not only playing softball, but I also umpire softball now.
Oh shit! I forgot you had a lot. You did a lot of softball this year.
Yeah, it wasn't just the slow pitch stuff too. It was also some fast pitch stuff. So now I had to deal with,
deal with the 12-year-olds.
It's not just the 12-year-olds. They got the 18-year-olds. So they're throwing in high heat, and not only that, you have these girls that are throwing 70-mile-an-hour high risers to the dome, and you're like, okay, I gotta not flinch, or otherwise I'm gonna look like a complete Sally, and I'll never be able to umpire this again. You still don't want to take one to the face, man.
I've umpired baseball before, and I've taken a foul ball to the face, and it's not fun. You daze for a second, you lose, and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, there was one tournament. It was a finals in the tournament, as I believe it was a best 2 out of 3 for the finals. And I took 2 shots because there were 14U. I took one to the chest, where you just hear all the crowd going, ooh, ooh, because you literally hear the.
You have a chest
Oh, of course, I have my chest protector. But even still, I felt that thud. I had to I had to literally back up from the plate, just kind of collect myself. I have to collect myself. And I'm like, and I just turn right back in, and then everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
No, but yes.
like yeah. You keep it going, because right after that, and I think she struck out. Yeah, she struck out swinging after that. The inning was over, and I literally took off my mask, and I'm like, because that shit hurt like hell. That thing was hot as all hell, man. So. That's pretty much been our summer, and that's pretty much been our last 4 months. But let's kind of dig right into this stuff. Let's get into some NFL talk here.
Loses the football, strip sack, and a takeaway by Chicago. Who else but Khalil Mack? Based on what?
Seeing ghosts.
Seeing ghosts. That's not good.
same intro.
Ain't shit changed with the one and only podcast here. Now let's get into some NFL talk. You know what?
Trust me, Tony needed that for this segment.
Yeah. Oh my God. My Chicago Bears are in some fucking deep shit. We're 3-5. It's pretty much, it'd take a fucking modern miracle for us to get into the playoffs, considering the fact that the NFC North is pretty much locked in by the fucking Green Bay Packers. And it's not even the fact that even if we win these games, I know we're not going to be winning these games. And it's one of those situations I look at this and I'm noticing the fact that my team's not as bad as what it should be.
No.
No.
You guys started off well. I'm looking at your schedule right now. You guys, you started off 3-1, and then lost by 3, lost by 1, lost by 8. Like, you're all single digits or low double digit. You're right there every time. Right there. You played the Pack. You lost the Packers by 7, 10-3.
I know.
You held that offense to 10 points.
So you're pretty much saying it's not our defense.
No. You have an elite defense. I will go out and say the Bears have an elite top 5 defense in the NFL.
Okay. So I can agree with the fact of saying
Your
that
offense sucks.
Well, I can attest to the fact of saying my offense sucks. I wouldn't really say that it's the entire offense that really sucks, though.
The biggest part.
Hold on. Before you get into it, because trust me, I'd like to be able to kind of throw that in myself. All right. We could say that our offensive line is not really giving our quarterback the time that he needs, because you know what?
He's giving Mitch a good amount of time.
Enough. He gives him enough time. You know.
Your ball should be out in. Not saying this because it's Tom Brady and the Patriots. This is coming from playing football and analyzing football. For a 3-step drop, you want that ball out in 4 seconds.
Exactly.
At least. He holds the ball. He makes these. He looks downfield, and he gets a look in his eyes like, I don't know where to go.
Case in point, ladies and gentlemen, the main reason why our fucking team sucks is because of a man named Mitchell fucking David Trubisky.
You even knew his middle name.
Yes, I knew his fucking middle name. His mama wants to make sure. His mama wants to make sure. Yeah, his mama wants to make sure that we call him Mitchell, all right, and not Mitch. As well, I will call him get the fuck out of here. Okay, the guy is an incompetent fucking quarterback. Okay, he cannot be able to make any type of reads whatsoever. Like, he cannot be able to see a fucking touchdown when it's staring at him right in the fucking face. I look at enough film to be able to see him look at a wide open Trey Burton down the field and not throw it to him. And throw it to a check down that literally costs us not only the downs, but the potential to be able to get it within scoring drives.
I've seen that too, and I don't understand why, because your tight end is supposed to be your quarterback's safety valve. If you see a wide open Ben Watson for the Patriots, Tom Brady hits him. Tyler Eifert for the Cincinnati, as bad as they are, he still gets his numbers.
But I hear enough Bears fans to be able to. There are enough Bears fans that are still defending this ass clown.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Do you think it has at all anything to do with Nagy's play call?
No. And here's the reason why. A competent quarterback can be able to see wide open wide receivers when they're breaking out, like an Allen Robinson can.
Nagy doesn't trust him.
It's not the fact that Nagy doesn't trust him.
Wait, hold on. Let me look this up.
Wait, before you said it, it's not the fact that Nagy doesn't trust him. Nagy's play calling is still working. It's still working.
Plays on offense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, he calls those play calls. But Nagy is calling the play calls that are working for our offense. The only problem is our quarterback cannot be able to see these reads. He sees a fucking check down in a Taylor Gabriel, and he would land that instead of seeing someone going wide open inside with one fucking safety on.
Yeah, but he wouldn't throw Taylor Gabriel when he was on my fantasy team, asshole.
Well, what the fuck else? Like, I'm sorry, but it can't fall on Matt Nagy when you don't have a quarterback that can't be able to make pre-snap reads. When you can only be able to take a look at one fucking read and that be it. You need someone better than that. If it was a situation, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if it was a situation where you actually did have a quarterback, let's say in more of like a Derek Carr. Derek Carr is playing really good football this year. All right, I could also be able to say, like, not gonna lie, probably top 5 this year as far as quarterbacks. Derek Carr, number 5, most likely, just because of what he is working with right now. He's doing some good work and playing very good football. How many people outside of Hard Knocks knew who the fuck Darren Waller was?
Me only because I know college football really well, and he was great in college. I mean, he was good when he first got to the Ravens, and then once he started doing drugs and everything, he was always a good player. He just seizing the opportunity and he got sober. So I'm looking at the game from Sunday for the Bears. This is where your big difference is.
Oh. How about this
look
one?
How many plays?
Oh,
the
man.
Eagles were on the field for 78 plays to the total 42 plays by the Bears.
Mallett, guess how many fucking total offensive yards the Bears had in the first half?
Not a lot.
9! 9 total offensive yards. 9 yards. That's the least that has happened in over 40 fucking years. That's atrocious. That is not falling on anybody but the fucking quarterback. There is no way in hell that anybody could be able to have something that terrible. I could get fucking daddy long neck looking motherfucking Mike Glennon, and he'll be able to get me 9 yards. He'll get me more than that shit.
Do you play Chase Daniels on Sunday?
I don't fucking know, man.
If you were in Maggie's situation,
it honestly wouldn't really fucking do it any good. It doesn't really matter. There's a reason why he was a fucking sub for 11 years. There's a reason why he's a backup. He can't really be.
So was Nick Foles.
Yeah, that was different. Nick Foles was a starting quarterback. He was still a starting quarterback. So
no, he wasn't. He was a backup.
Even for the Rams.
Yep.
No, yeah, he was starting quarterback. He was starting quarterback for the Eagles. Took that job.
And then they drafted.
Goff. They
started Goff.
No, but even when he started with the Eagles beforehand.
Well, no, he got that because
was it like
Vic got hurt?
I think it was Vic that got hurt.
Was it Vic?
Yeah, it was Vic. Vic got hurt, and then Nick Foles started.
Yeah.
And then he ended up earning that job.
Yep.
So he was he was
a
starting quarterback. So at that point, but regardless, I would take them to be able to fucking help us out over this. You give me a quarterback that could be able to give me at least some type of pre-snap reads, and then I could be able to say, you know what? I'll throw some blame on fucking Matt Nagy. I'll give the fucking blame to Ryan Pace, the GM, as well, too, for actually thinking that this would be the guy to actually lead us to championships.
We also have to put it on the coach a little bit. This ultimately comes down to coaching. This is stuff that Nagy and your offensive coordinator and your quarterback's coach should be seeing in practice.
I will give Nagy one fucking gripe, though. Why the fuck did they sit them for the entire preseason? That was stupid. All right?
It was.
So,
you guys want to talk about something on the positive note now?
Yeah, let's get into something that's positive for this guy. Regardless, the Patriots are still doing fairly well despite the loss that they had last week to the
Don't worry, guys.
Baltimore
I wasn't
Ravens.
crying. It's a regular season fucking game.
Yeah.
This happens. We also lost. Fun fact: last year we got annihilated by the Tennessee Titans the week before our bye week 2.
I was gonna say
Tennessee.
Didn't y'all lose last year to the Detroit Lions on the road?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like week 2. So
yes, it was.
It's not one of those things where you see a team that loses to. I mean, not gonna lie, you actually have somebody who has a decent offense and a relatively smart defense. You have no wide. Oh, come on now. You don't have. You're not telling me that Julian Edelman is not a dynamic wide receiver?
He is. Oh,
okay,
Julian Edelman is an elite wide receiver in my eyes. But I mean, Mohamed Sanu.
I mean, you still have Sanu,
Phil
though.
Dorsett, what has he done until this year in the NFL?
I was about to say, this year he stepped up.
And then you go Jacob Myers, N'Keal Harry, who's making his first start next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then the great Matthew Slater.
You mean He should be better played on defense anyway. I'm telling you, he can be able to tackle.
10-time Pro Bowler, Tony.
Of course, he's a 10-time Pro Bowler. He's fast as shit to be able to get down the field.
One of the punters in the NFL. I think it was he's punt for the Colts.
Sam Cook.
No.
Oh, so punch for the Colts. I thought you meant the Ravens, because that is Sam Cook.
One of the better punches in the league told.
Ben
McAfee.
McAfee. There you go.
McAfee. He said that Matthew Slater is one of the best special teams players he's ever played against.
Don't blame him.
But yeah, so far this year the Patriots got off to a very hot start. Even though we gave up 37 to the Ravens, I still think we have the best defense in football. Lamar Jackson's fucking ridiculous and so hard to fucking tackle.
It's true. Now, do you see anything that you can actually take from that game that you feel that you need to be able to work on?
Offensive line is garbage. If you blitz the Patriots, you will beat the Patriots. Brady doesn't have time to look around. I mean, then you're going to get Sanu's 10 catches for 100-plus yards and touchdown because he's going to come across a lot. But, yeah, line kind of sucks.
Something's wrong with fucking Marcus Cannon.
I don't think Marcus Cannon played.
Are you sure?
I think he's hurt.
Was that the Mark?
Pretty sure Newsome was playing for him. And Newsome is terrible. Terrible.
Jeez.
But hopefully we get Isaiah Wynn back not the week after the bye, the week after.
Do you see anything defensively that you can be able to clean up so that
if we face a running quarterback, our linebackers aren't fast enough to get him? Dante Hightower's lost a step.
I feel like
Van Noy's not particularly that fast. Chase Winovich is pretty quick, but he's only in there on about 60% of snaps right now.
I feel like they still have an issue with that running game, though. Your secondary is top notch, but when you actually have a team with a
good
decent running game,
Chubb put up like 140 yards.
Yeah, outside of the 2 fumbles that he ended up getting, which were,
one of them I don't blame Chubb. One of them, his own lineman kicked it out of his hand.
All right,
and then the other one, Jonathan Jones.
That's great. That was a great attempt on that.
He
punched that ball in, just punched that out.
He started running, he was like jogging, then he started Chubb get past him, he was like, oh shit, I gotta go. And he went and just textbook punch it out. But can we talk about Baker Mayfield's interception for a second?
What?
Did you see that?
You're on the one that's just like, oh, here you go.
Yeah,
here,
take
it.
Hey, Lawrence, here you go. Oh my god.
Hey, it's not as bad as the butt fumble. Nothing will ever compare to the fucking butt fumble.
Sanchez.
Yes. So I would say, if anything, you would have to be able to work on the run stop. Because you guys have a great pass rush.
Our front four isn't the best. Trading away Michael Bennett, he didn't really get along here, but he's still that big, dominating presence up front.
Kyle Van Noy is still
Conor Van Noy plays a lot outside lately.
Yeah.
He's rushing from the outside a lot lately. But Danny Shelton's is getting better. I think we'll be all right. We got 2 weeks now.
Who do you guys have next? Who you guys got next?
Eagles.
So your road's going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, we have a pretty tough schedule. Started with the Ravens. The Ravens are a really good team.
Right.
The Ravens are who we thought they were.
So I'm looking at this, and when you notice the first 7 games that you guys, or 7 or 8 games that you guys have played, you've had teams that have either kind of really just kind of started
over 500.
Well, even
and
still,
we were 1-1 against them.
Exactly. So you have teams that were either just getting started to be able.
Are the Bills for real?
No, they're not for real. The Bills are not for real.
Their defense is nasty.
Well, unfortunately, they don't have the quarterback to be able to help them out.
It's been all right. But so coming up, a lot tougher. Our first 9 games, we faced 2 teams over 500. The Ravens, who we lost to, and the Bills, who we beat.
Right.
We face Philly, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City in a row.
That is going to be
Mahomes
a tough test. Yes, he will.
Philly, I'm not really scared of. Sean Jackson's out for the year.
What happened to?
He re-aggravated his core injury and he got surgery yesterday.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Alshon Jeffrey's banged up. Stephon Gilmore, I think's top 3 corner in the league this year. I think he takes him completely out of it.
I just don't see the tight ends and Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert really posing that much of a threat for them.
No, Chung will take. I can see Goddard having a good game because Chung will probably be on Ertz, and he's physical. He's strong to the ball. Goddard will probably be on Jonathan Jones, and they could exploit that matchup. Patriots haven't played against Carson Wentz in 3 years.
Well, they still got some tape on the question is it going to be the Carson Wentz of when they played prior, or is Carson Wentz going to actually show you something that they haven't actually seen before? But
we'll find out. I mean, Miles Sanders is always a big threat in the run game.
Jordan Howard is also one.
Pretty good. I mean, they're a good team. Their defense doesn't scare. I think their defense is trash, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Outside of Brandon Graham, go Blue, by the way.
I figured I was going to get one thrown in there.
They're really Malcolm Jenkins, but other than that, really don't scare me. They feel like they'll play his own. Brady will carve him up. Dallas, Zeke scares me. That's where your stop your run game comes in. Because Zeke, if he gets loose, Zeke can put up 200 yards and 3 touchdowns if he wants to. God, I hate Ohio State.
Yeah, that is a possibility if you can't contain that run.
And then if you can't contain the run, you got Dak, who now can play off the play action. You got Cooper. You got Cobb, Gallup. They're a good team. They're a solid team. Good team. The defense, again, doesn't really scare me. Outside of Jordan Lewis. Go Blue.
And there's another. I can already just... You're
There's
going to...
guy on that team, too, but I can't think of his name off the top of my head, so...
You're going to see someone in Dak who, if he actually does get pressure applied to him, and with which I know on the third down, y'all are really known to apply the pressure.
We're blitzing the quarterback about, I think it was 56% of snaps this year. Steven Belichick, who is the play caller of the defense this year.
Who gets it, Mayo or Belichick? Who's going to be that?
Belichick. It's been Belichick for the last 4 weeks.
Okay.
Exclusively calling plays. Mayo deals with sideline stuff. I think Mayo ends up being the defensive coordinator because it's more recognizable.
Yeah.
But I still think Steve Belichick calls plays.
Okay. So, at this point, we can be able to say that, just kind of wrap this up here. You guys have a little bit of a tough task, and within
games are easy.
Yeah. But yet, if you get through those 4, you can be able to put yourselves in not only position to claim home field advantage and secure that first round bye, but at least let teams know that you can't be fucking stopped.
We're going to lose one of those games. One of those 4 games we'll lose.
What would you say it would be? You're riding a hell of a streak at home, too, by the way. I think it's, 21, 22 consecutive home...
I think it would either be Dallas... or Houston. Deshaun Watson's playing out of his mind this year. He got kicked in the face and threw a touchdown pass.
Dude, that's your fucking...
While fixing... No, it's not. Christian McCaffrey's your MVP. Let's not get this overstated. Christian McCaffrey's your MVP.
It's close, man. It's close. They're both playing really fucking good football, man. They really are. The reason why the Panthers are even where they are is because of Christian McCaffrey. I know.
He's on pace to break Peterson's record for most rushing yards in the season, and whoever holds a touchdown record for the season, and he's going to shatter that one.
I'm so glad this kid knows the playbook.
I love that his brother plays for Michigan. Go Blue.
All right. We're going to wrap that up there. So we're going to go into some UFC talk. We had a great card that happened this past weekend at UFC 244 for Nate Diaz and
there were a lot of good knockouts.
Oh, yes, there was.
There were some great knockouts.
Yeah, we're going to go into that next.
Overhead, game plan, must be ball. The fight clock is brought to you by Machado. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see. Oh my goodness. Stiff as a board. Oh my goodness.
Diaz gets the rope. My
Gotta love going into segments like that. Let's go into some UFC talk. We had the fights this past weekend, UFC 244, with the main event being Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz for the BMF belt, the baddest motherfucker belt.
Just saying, yes. I don't want to fuck with either of them. I don't want to fuck with anybody on this card.
Nah.
Never fuck with an MMA fighter. Kevin Hart said it first. They can hit you one pressure point, shut your whole body down.
I can understand that. I can understand the reasoning why people wouldn't want to do that. So let's kind of go over some of the card here. We pretty much watched them all, but we're gonna go over at least the main event of the prelim, which is not gonna take that long. Corey Anderson, Corey Beastin 25-8, fucking overtime. Yeah, that's what his nickname is, Mallett. Beastin 25-8, which is absolutely one of the worst fucking nicknames you can have in MMA. That's absolutely terrible. But he absolutely squashed a young up-and-comer who pretty much was on a tear over these past few fights that he had in Johnny Walker. He smoked him in the first round, and just it was one of those fights where you pretty much were expecting the complete opposite. Like we were pretty much all expecting Johnny Walker just go in, just completely starch Corey Anderson, because at this point Corey Anderson was one of those who he fought Ovince St. Preux, got knocked out. He fought Jimmy Manuwa and got knocked out. Like he fought these light heavyweights, and they're pretty much gatekeepers to the point right now to be able to get an actual title shot.
He knocked him the fuck out.
And he knocked Johnny Walker the fuck out. Like clean over. It was based on a TKO stoppage. I will admit. Like Walker was just standing there in a daze. And once the referee came in to stop the fight, you just see Corey Anderson just talking so much fucking shit to Johnny Walker.
If you look at it, Johnny Walker threw 3 punches.
He did. He got a couple in, but it was to the point where...
One leg kick, 1 significant strike, 22 significant strikes, and 21 headshots. He kicked him in the legs more, though. Case in
point, Johnny Walker pretty much failed the test of... to the point where he could be a true top-tier contender. Like when you feel like you say he failed the test, it's like he pretty much just flunked out of school. Hard.
Yes.
Yeah. But moving on to the actual main card.
This fight was crazy.
Oh, my God. The main card starting off with fucking Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee going into this fight was on a 3-fight losing streak. Not gonna lie, he lost to one significant one being an ally Aquinta, and it's one of those. He's one of those fighters where you would think that he could be able to be a top tier contender, but just finds ways to be able to lose fights. He would end up winning rounds. He has great grappling, but just finds some way to just be able to just either feels like he's too cocky, or he just underestimates his opponents and they just end up taking the fight away from him. So he goes into this fight with Gregor Gillespie, and at this point I'm thinking, you know what? Shit, Lee's about to have another short night. He's probably going to be... Actually, no, he actually may end up getting slept by Gillespie. Nope. That was not the fucking case. Another scenario where I'm thinking, oh shit, you know what? This is going to be fucking a cakewalk for Gillespie. I was so fucking wrong on that one. Kevin Lee throws a right jab and a roundhouse kick
to the side of the face.
Gillespie's jaw that just drops him
sleeping
right onto the fucking cage. You just see his head bouncing off the fucking cage. And Kevin Lee throwing a couple for fucking good measure. Man.
This fight was crazy, though. It ended in 2 minutes and 47 seconds in the first round, and there was close to 100 punches thrown between each guy.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't really one of those, like, Gillespie put himself in a situation where he just leaned himself in.
That was absolutely filth.
That's not something that he would have.
He gave him the jab, and Gillespie, I thought, was coming back and crossed with one when he brought it up.
Exactly.
He's filthy.
Like, it was absolutely insane. So, with that, Kevin Lee bounces back from his...
a previously undefeated guy.
Exactly, in Gregor Gillespie. So, Gregor Gillespie is going to have to go back to the drawing board, and considering the fact that he won 17, I believe, consecutive fights, I mean, I think he can find some way to kind of bounce back and get back into it. So, next fight is...
I don't remember this fight, to be completely honest.
Oh, I do. This fight here was in the heavyweight division. It was Derek Lewis versus Blagoy Ivanov. And Derek Lewis coming into the fight, he wanted to make sure that he did not gas himself out, because in a lot of his previous fights, he would try to be able to kind of pretty much go for broke, and at that point, he would have nothing left in the gas tank within the next consecutive rounds. So at this point, coming into the fight, I saw Derek Lewis, and I saw a more leaner version of Derek Lewis, not like one that just... I felt like he actually has put in the work to actually go in and get the cardio win that he needed to actually go into this fight. So coming into it, I felt that, you know what, he may end up getting the victory, but it's going to take a lot for him to really be able to do it, because Ivanov is not going to be one to go down without a fucking fight. And damned if that fucking ended up happening. You had Derek Lewis throwing some of these switch kicks, and at that point, Ivanov was kind of timing it. And at this point, Derek Lewis was also, keeping himself at bay, still throwing significant shots, and I mean, wailing on Ivanov. There were certain points of this fight where I thought Ivanov was going to be doing like a Zab Judah kind of fucking dance, because he was wobbling bad in this fight.
Yeah, I remember this fight, a couple times.
Yeah, he was wobbling bad in this fight. And he just wouldn't go down, though. He used a lot of his takedowns to kind of help him out, but it just wasn't enough to be able to get him the victory. Derek Lewis was applying way too much pressure on him. He landed far more significant strikes than Ivanov. So at that point, I felt that he definitely earned that victory. But it was a great fight between the two of them. That was an absolutely fantastic fight. So next up, we got a welterweight fight between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque coming off the victory of his previous fight, whereas Wonderboy, his last fight against Anthony Showtime Pettis was his first time he ever got knocked out. Slept. He got legitimately slept in that fight. So that was the first time that happened, and
there's so many punches thrown in this fucking fight.
Oh, there was, and
a lot of kicks.
That's what you.
The Q kicked him 50 times in the legs.
Oh yeah. If there's one thing you were going to get out of this fight, considering the way that these guys are the way that they actually are, the way that they have their fights, you're gonna get a lot of stand up. You're not gonna get a lot of
brawl. This fight was an absolute brawl.
I'm not gonna say it was more of like a fake Bruce Lee fight, just based on the fact that it was just a lot of fucking stand up. But when you saw Wonderboy Thompson throwing a lot of the kicks within range and not allowing Luque to be able to come inside the pocket, because that's the way that you can be able to beat Wonderboy, is coming into the pocket. But Wonderboy was able to stay outside the range, land a lot of fucking kicks, landing a lot of fucking shots, and that was allowing him to be able to get the victory. So Wonderboy Thompson ended up getting the unanimous decision. So it was a good fight between Wonderboy, and I believe at that point,
that was entertaining.
Yeah. So that will definitely that'll put Wonder Boy back into the ranks of potential top tier contenders within the welterweight division. So next up, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till.
This was a pretty good fight too.
This was one of those where a lot of people were saying, Darren Till, what the hell are you doing? You should not be going into this fight against a guy in Kelvin Gastelum because the previous fight that Darren Till had was against Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal baptized his ass.
Yep. I remember
Oh my God, I just see him just flop and just get dropped with a fucking nice right. Like it was one thing. Like it looked like
and then Ben Askren happened.
And then yes, you had Ben Askren. Like we'll actually discuss a little bit about that guy after this because there's certain things that he's been saying about what he'd want to be able to do for his future. But as far as this fight against Kelvin Gastelum, you got a guy in Gastelum who, if you thought that the knockout that he had against Jorge Masvidal was bad, I'm telling you, you got a guy in Kelvin Gastelum that will literally fucking just knock your head clean the fuck off. Like you've seen a knockout in a fucking Michael Bisping that just folded that dude, absolutely folded him.
Saw that.
And so coming into that fight, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, he's got to find some way to keep Kelvin Gastelum at bay and not have Gastelum come into the pocket and completely just end his life. And that's what Till did. Till found a way to be able to land more strikes on Gastelum, more significant strikes on Gastelum, even though Gastelum still was pumping enough jabs on Till, landing enough fucking body shots on him. Till was still doing enough work on Gastelum to be able to get the victory here.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was really entertaining.
Like there was not one round that I saw that would allow me to be able to say that Kelvin Gastelum would end up getting the win. So I would say that was a good showing for Darren Till, and knowing that he's going to be making a little bit of noise within that division now, because at that point he beat somebody who was supposed to be the next middleweight champion pretty much. He was supposed to face Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker unfortunately had the problem with his, I believe, a hernia, so he wouldn't be able to compete. I'm sorry for kind of going off topic. I'm just kind of telling you the type of person Gastelum was. But this guy was actually supposed to be facing like the undisputed champion for the middleweight belt. So the fact that Darren Till came in and pretty much starched Gastelum the way that he did, it's going to cause a lot of noise within that division. So but that was the co-main. But the main event, jeez, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Great fight.
BMF belt in the welterweight division, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. Now, I gotta admit, looking at all three of the rounds that actually occurred, because the actual result of this fight was an actual doctor stoppage.
TKO by doctor stoppage.
Yes, it was a TKO via doctor stoppage heading into the championship rounds. So they ended up getting 3 pretty fucking good rounds of fights.
Diaz was busted open within the first minute.
Yep. And it wasn't even to the point where if there was a doctor stoppage, Diaz got completely robbed. Diaz would have needed to knock Jorge the fuck out.
Yeah, because I think Masvidal won all the first 3 rounds.
If I was scoring those rounds, 2 of those 3 rounds were 10-8 rounds. 2 of them.
The first round, Masvidal owned the
first round was a 10-8 round.
Masvidal
Immediately, yes.
8 Diaz. I was surprised, honestly, and I know Nate Diaz is tough. He doesn't go down very easy. I thought he was going to get knocked out a couple times in the first round.
The fucking head kick. You see the fucking head kick that Masvidal threw on Diaz? Oh my God. you see Nate leaning into the fucking head kick. He's leaning into it and going into it fully, and he doesn't even go down.
Nope.
This guy is a fucking
I think he
savage.
stumbled.
No.
No, I think he just ate it.
Like, that was incredible. Like, I see that fight and I'm just like, I really, really wanted more. I really did. As much as I saw the doctor stoppage, and knowing that at first glance though, I wanted them to keep going.
Oh,
but seeing at it from like a day afterwards, and just knowing the fact that the cut that he had on his eye was that fucking bad, I'm glad that they did what they did. Because not only that, you're looking at it like this. It's not for an actual championship. Like, it's not for like a legitimate like title. Like, in that scenario, you usually get 3 rounds. If that's the case, we got 3 rounds. I'm sorry that it didn't go the way that.
I really hope they run it back. I really, really hope they run it back.
I hope so too, but it's gonna be one of those things where Dana will have to see if he would want to be able to do it, which sucks because he wants all these other things.
They both want to do it. Nate's convinced that Dana doesn't want to do it.
I don't think Dana wants him to do it. No, I honestly don't see Nate fighting Jorge again. I don't. Just because I don't feel like Dana's gonna want him to do it. Because Jorge, at this point now, he's pretty much gunning for the winner of the Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington fight. Whoever wins that is facing Masvidal.
2nd, right?
I believe so. Yeah, whoever's facing that is going to be facing Masvidal. Whoever wins that. And that's...
Both of them will be good fights.
Oh, yeah, because I look at both of them and I see that they could be able to apply that same kind of pressure that Jorge can be able to apply himself, if not better. Because you saw in prior fights, Kamaru Usman apply so much fucking pressure to Tyron Woodley that it made him fucking quit. Now, mind you, Woodley has some quit in his heart in certain fights, but
That's not gonna quit in his heart.
No.
That's gonna be a good fight.
But if he puts him to the ground, like he pretty much did with Woodley, and keeps applying pressure to him, it's going to be a hard fucking fight for him. And also the same way with Colby Covington. You saw what he did with Robbie Lawler. Yeah. Robbie Lawler is one of those, like he's one of those dudes that would just come in and try to be able to fuck you up by any means necessary. And you just see Colby Covington just doing the complete same. Just coming in and just throwing at will. So one of the most strikes that I've ever seen thrown at Robbie Lawler happened against Colby Covington. And not only that, but just also like great grappling game. That's going to be the one kryptonite that's going to happen for for Jorge Masvidal, is that his ground game will not be able to stand against either Usman or fucking Covington. So
he's gonna have to knock him out then.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for the fact that he would knock him out and give him a 3-piece and a soda. I would love that shit. So let's go into some college football talk now. We can do that since we got the playoffs coming in soon. So
first rankings came out last night.
Oh, this will be fun. Mallett, we're running low. Ah, shit. We're going to need to pick up again. Damn it.
Oh, we need to pick up.
Well, regardless. Well, let's get into this college football talk here. And
We fucked up.
Yeah, let's go with the college football playoff rankings here. So, we have Ohio State sitting at number 1, LSU at number 2, Alabama number 3, Penn State at number 4, with Clemson and Georgia
Rounding out the top 6.
rounding out the top 6. Now, Mallett, you see Ohio State at number 1.
This is not biased coming from me being a Michigan fan.
Go Blue.
They shouldn't be number 1. I think the LSU should be number 1. they have defeated some really good teams. Yet a lot of them are close games, but they've won, and they keep winning. Joe Burrows is one hell of a quarterback. That defense is filthy.
I know that you've been covering Ohio State. What would you say that their most significant win has been?
They really haven't had one yet. Maybe Michigan State, but they haven't played that many people. Oh, Wisconsin, actually, last week. Wisconsin kicked the shit out of Wisconsin.
So
Who
when
kicked
you
the shit out of Michigan?
So you're pretty much telling me the end of November is not going to be so fun.
Nah, we'll be in this year.
So you're going to
Always have faith, Tony.
So you're going to beat the number one team in the college football.
They won't be number one after this week. After this week, whoever wins the Alabama or the LSU game is going to be the number one in the college playoff.
Do you see that team falling out of the college football playoff?
No. You're losing to another team that's right. Because you have LSU and Alabama are 2 and 3 in the college football playoff right now.
Right.
So you have number 2 going into number 3.
Mm-hmm.
If LSU wins that game, I think Bama's favored by 6. If LSU wins that game, clear cut number 1. Probably SEC championship. Probably going to be number 1 going to the playoff. I think Bama needs to win this game. If Bama doesn't win this game, that's going to be really hard for them to come back in because they haven't played anybody.
Right.
They beat down everybody, but they haven't played anybody. They only play LSU and Auburn.
I was going to say their next one would be the Iron Bowl against Auburn. So they would need this win badly.
Tua is playing. That came out earlier today. Tua is going to play.
Now, what would LSU, if they end up winning, what would be their next game after that? Would they have the bye to go against the SEC championship, or would they have somebody else before they would end up winning it?
I think they have. I have no idea. I'm going to look that up. But they've already played Florida. They might have Georgia. They've already played Florida. They've already played Ole Miss. Oh no, they play Ole Miss next week. Stop it.
Okay. So they would have Ole Miss before they would end up cementing themselves as West champions.
A&M.
Oh, and Texas A&M.
A&M at the end of... Yeah, that'll be... A&M's the last game.
They have A&M, Arkansas.
Yeah,
So it's Ole Miss.
Terrible.
Ole Miss, Arkansas, and A&M to round up their season. Yeah. But regardless, they still have...
Number 9, Texas. Number 7, Florida. Number 9, Auburn.
Oh, yeah. They have cemented themselves to being in the playoff. It's a matter of, as long as they don't slip up going into the SEC championship.
I don't see it. It's a good coach team. It's LSU I think is the real deal this year. Same as if Bama wins, they round out their season pretty easily up until Auburn.
Now going into Ohio State again. The fact that they've beaten a Wisconsin team that was ranked pretty high, I believe they were ranked what?
At that point they were like 13.
Oh, actually 13. Well, they actually did have
Penn State coming up.
They did have a higher ranking though, Mallett.
They did
back in the day, like what 4th? I think they were.
Not this year. They were 13th when they beat Michigan. I think they went up to 8.
Okay, 8. Thank you. Because after that, they ended up losing. But even still, beating a Wisconsin team like that, and unfortunately, that's pretty much all that they had.
No, they beat Michigan State when they were.
They were 25th ranked, but I mean that's still not enough to really be able to cement you as the number 1 team.
No, and they have 2 tough games left in the rest of the season, in Penn State and then Michigan. Before that, they have Maryland and Rutgers. They should roll both those games.
Wow, it really goes to show you that the committee is actually.
It's just the amount of they've beat down every single, but they haven't lost. The closest to them was 45-21.
That's just gross.
They beat Miami of Ohio 76-5.
It was Miami of Ohio, though. Are you kidding me?
They beat Northwestern's a good team, 52-3. Wisconsin, 38-7.
That one I will give. I will give them the
everybody.
I will give them the Wisconsin.
Michigan State 34-10.
Dude, I'll give them the Wisconsin game though, but I would not put them as my number one.
I wouldn't either.
I would not.
Actually, no, I'd probably have them as 3. Clemson's lost or beat people in some very sketchy games.
Yeah.
They've almost lost to Syracuse. They almost lost to Virginia Tech. They've had some very... They almost lost to Virginia last week, didn't they?
Yes, they did. So would you also put Penn State out of that as well? Would they be number 4 then? Because at this point right now, they're sitting at number 4 still.
No, they'd be 5.
They'd be 5.
Clemson and Penn State would flip.
Okay, so 4 and 5 for Penn State and Clemson. So, well,
if you're gonna go by beating ranked teams, fucking Penn State should be in the top. Should be number 1. Then they beat like 4 or 5 of them already.
I was about to say. So, all right. Well, at least we wanted to kind of cover what has been going on and what has occurred in the college football playoff.
He just didn't want to bring up his Seminoles because they suck.
Oh, actually, let's bring up the fact that yes, we finally fired our head coach, Willie Taggart. Oh god, that shit was
Michigan will never fire Jim Harbaugh.
Nope, they won't. Then you will continue to land in mediocrity, and that's why you have that M. See, the thing is, we can be able to say like how bad my team is, but yet, where the hell is your national championship? Yeah, you haven't gotten
the most wins in college football history, Tony.
But yet, you haven't won a national championship in this decade, or in this century.
Won one in this century.
In the 2010s? In the 2000s? No, you have not.
So you've only won 1.
But yet, it's within this.
We won one in the 90s. Tom Brady.
Still in the 10s. We're still in the 10s. Anyway, we're going to do a little bit of Would You Rather and get a little bit high in the process. So, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Smoking on endo. So put down the coke in the benzos. No opiate choking your mental. Let your stress go. No dress code. Just breathe in and feel it. And if you can find it, it needs some.
That one hit a little different.
I actually unblocked the carb. Yes, finally. Shit. That is great. All right, we're going to do a little bit of Would You Rather. As I can tell, I got a couple of questions from Mr. Mallett.
Got at least one for you, Tony.
Yeah. Now, let's start off with this one here. We were actually talking before off the air whether or not we would rather have free alcohol or free weed for the rest of our lives.
Give me the herbs, baby.
Yeah. You know, absolutely. I would definitely have free weed for the rest of my life. You know, because at that point, you get free weed. What benefits to that for us? That means that we have the money to be able to get more alcohol.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Yes, please.
Curious to
would you rather have the free weed or free alcohol? Please let us know. Now, going into that kind of scenario, would you, now this is based on that choice here, would you rather smoke mids for the rest of your life or drink skunked beer for the rest of your life?
I get such a bad headache with mids.
Yeah,
and I'd have to smoke like 3 blunts in a row to even get high. Am I still getting the weed for free? Is it still free?
No, it's not free. No, you gotta pay for it. The only thing you get is mids the rest of your life. And the only alcohol that you can be able to drink is a skunk beer.
I'll go skunk beer. I can do it after a while.
Skunked Keystone Light.
I don't even think I've ever had a Keystone Light before.
God, dude, it is terrible.
I can only imagine.
Oh my God. Yeah. Shit, if that's kind of the scenario I'd have, yeah, give me the fucking skunked beer.
I can't
Fuck
smoke
it.
mids. I'll smoke the good shit. I'll pay for the good shit.
Shit.
All right, I got one for you, Tony.
All right.
It's a little less that, I guess. Would you rather play for the Yankees but never play and sit on the bench and win championship, or play for the worst team in the league but you start every game?
Oof. If I felt, man, I'm sorry, no, I'm not a fucking Yankees fan. Fuck out of here. I'd rather play for the worst team and know for a fact that I actually can be able to contribute to my fucking team, even though we didn't end up getting the win, than sit on the fucking bench and have pinstripes on and declare myself a fucking champion.
I'm right there with you.
Fuck out of there. Shit.
I played in plenty of shitty teams. It ain't that bad.
Oh my god. Friggin', I wouldn't need to be able to have that kind of scenario. Because if I did that, I'd be like, you know what? Oh, get me the fuck out of here. I'd want to fucking trade anyway. And yes, that's my own fucking situation. Alright, I got one for you. Would you rather have the Yankees never win a World Series, or we go on a drought for 20 fucking years?
So, the Yankees don't win anymore, but neither do we?
Within the next 20 years.
I don't know, as long as the Yankees don't win, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I think that was kind of an easier one considering the circumstances. I'd be like, you know what? If there was a situation, we would get to the World Series and lose.
I hate watching my teams lose. Tony, we went through this once already this year.
I know.
This one's a plus, I guess, for both. Would you rather go to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals or the Super Bowl where your Bears are favored?
Oh, my God.
And you have a competent quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky.
Fuck you. Oh, my God. I mean, shit. That's a hard one, man. Because, I mean, it's the fucking Super Bowl.
Not the Bruins, though, either. It's not the Bruins in the finals. Just the Game 7 of the finals.
Oh, it's just Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals,
Yeah.
and it's not the Bruins?
Yeah.
Give me the fucking Super Bowl all day. That's
the Bruins.
Oh, damn! Ooh. If it was the Bruins or the Bears.
I'm going to the Stanley Cup Finals of the Bruins or the Patriots. I'm going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I'm going to the Super Bowl.
No. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm going to the fucking Super Bowl, dude.
That's right, you're not used to winning championships, Tony.
I'm gonna fucking see. Look, I'm sorry the fact that it's been fucking since 1986 since we fucking hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. But yes, god damn it, I would want to see my Bears win. I would.
You guys beat us that year, asshole.
You fucking right we did.
It's only because of the fridge.
Who cares? Alright, I got one here. Would you rather give up weed or give up sex? Which one are you giving up?
Weed.
Good
Like
fucking man.
A ton of alcohol, but I got one for you, Tony. For the people out there that don't know, me, Tony, and the boys are avid cornhole players, and as you know, we're avid softball players. Would you rather never be able to play softball again, or never be able to play bags again?
Ooh. I love the game of softball. And knowing the fact that the things that I can actually be able to do outside of the game, knowing the fact that I actually do umpire, and I know that was not a part of it.
Damn it.
So that did not count.
Fucking
So
loophole.
I got the loophole. I would never play softball again. And it's not because of the fact that I don't love the game of softball. I fucking love playing softball. It's just that I know that I would still be able to have fun doing the umpiring as well. And knowing that, I would be able to walk away from that. I'm sorry, I can't walk away from fucking bags, man. I can't do that shit. No. So, let's see. Would you rather... This is pertaining to the Bruins and the Celtics.
Okay.
All right. If you had the opportunity... No, never mind. We'll edit that shit out, so... of course, I'm also high as shit. It's more of the fact of trying to think of whether or not would you rather have a Stanley Cup championship or an NBA title.
Stanley Cup championship.
No.
I'm not the biggest basketball fan in the world, Tony. I like basketball, I like the Celtics. I'm football, baseball, hockey, basketball-ish. I like to play basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, me, I would... That'd be pretty difficult, man, because as much as I'd like to see that Stanley Cup get hoisted, considering the fact that it should have been hoisted last year.
We don't talk about that day.
Yeah, that one fucking hurt. I cried. I cried that day.
I don't know what day you're talking to, Tony.
I'm kidding. Anyway.
He's not kidding.
Shut up. Anyway, I don't know. I actually would have to agree with you, Mallett. I would rather see that Stanley Cup get hoisted. So that they fucking...
It's the hardest championship to win.
I'd say.
Anybody can do it. Look at the Kings. They've won 3 being the 8 seed.
That's true. So you can definitely say that is definitely a tough task to be able to have. You can't go into that thing going that thinking that you're the best team in there and think that you're just going to be able to fucking walk through the playoffs. Look at Tampa Bay last year. They had the best points that they could possibly have, and they got fucking smoked.
Facts.
Swept.
Facts.
Okay? So, let's see here.
Would you rather only be able to drink Natty Ice or never be able to drink beer again?
Ugh. Never be able to drink beer again. Oh yeah.
That's true.
I would have
like the bottom of every other beer poured into one beer.
If Natty Ice was the only beer that I would be able to have for the rest of my life, I will have a Jack Neat for the rest of my life with no problem. I will switch to whiskey, and that will be the end of it. I'll be drunker quicker, but that's shit.
Worst hangovers ever.
Speaking of the Natty Ice, I'm going to go back to your fucking little mids here. Would you rather have mids for the rest of your life or never smoke weed again? There you go. There's one right back at you, motherfucker. What you doing?
I guess I'm becoming an alcoholic, man. I ain't smoking weed every day. I can't smoke mids. Either that or I'm just gonna start doing coke.
Oh, shit!
Nah. I'm good. become an alcoholic. Put back Fireball like a champ.
Jeez. You know, we'll have this dude fairly having a fucking tab on his fucking underneath this tongue, man. And try LSD?
Try, sure.
You can say the words no. I'd be like, okay,
I've already done it before.
I don't fucking know that shit.
I lived when I was a child.
Yeah, I did.
I beat with my buddy Dylan. We beat the entire game of Frogger on PS1 while we were on S. That was a fucking great time.
Are you shitting me? Goddamn.
No, that shit was hard. That shit was crazy.
Let's see. That's like, I would never be able to do that kind of thing. Like,
it was crazy. I felt like I was Frogger. It was awesome.
You felt like you were Frogger?
Yeah.
You felt like you were jumping on the fucking highway trying to be able to fucking
I was in
not
the game.
get...
I was right there. The Frogger was right here. It was me, and it was my boy.
I was like, all right, Chris.
Yep.
Let's get across the street.
Yep. I got hit by a couple cars. It was fine.
You weren't like fucking freaking out and...
No. Fuck. I was...
After getting hit by a car? Oh, wait. You had a couple more lives.
Yeah, exactly. That was fun. That was a fun time.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
I think our kitchen table was a poker, like, table. Was our kitchen table in that apartment.
Damn. Would you rather win... Would you rather do a lump sum of $20 million or get $300,000 a month for the rest of your life?
$300,000 a month for the rest of my life. The $30 million is going to be gone in 15 years.
Really?
20 years. I mean, like, if you just blow through it, you get a lump sum of $30 million, you're going to blow through a good amount of it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But every month I'm getting $300,000, plus it's going to end up being more anyway. At a short amount of time. I'm at $30 million in like 10 years.
There you go.
And it's consistent. I'll work on like a part-time job and just bankroll. I'll be traveling.
See, that's the way to be smart. See, just because we're high doesn't mean that we're not dumb.
Would you rather... Fuck, I had it in my head too. Fuck. I had it in my head.
Would you rather fuck?
Or... would you rather never be able to walk again or never be able to drive?
Oh, let me get my Uber and never be able to fucking drive again. Bullshit. I'd rather fucking walk. Any and everywhere possible. I wouldn't need to be able to drive. I mean, fuck, there have been other people who have never needed to be able to drive, and they've been able to get by to places fine. You know, the best thing is nowadays you at least have something other than a taxi to be able to get you somewhere. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you got all different types of transportation.
Uber.
You know, no matter what, you can be able to get somewhere. It's just a matter of where you'd want to be able to go. So I'll keep myself not being a paraplegic. Let's see. You have another one, Dara? Trying to think of a...
No, I think I'm out.
Alright. Shit, let's see here.
Oh, I got one actually. Would you rather only eat fish or be a vegan?
Only eat fish.
I'll be
Fuck that vegan life.
I can't eat fish. I might adapt to it actually.
I find some ways to be able to cook fish in a different type of way, but I would never be able to resort to myself just being straight up vegan. I just can't fucking do it. I'll eat vegan food. Like, I can tolerate having vegan food, but I just can't have that be my lifestyle. You know, I can't have that kind of scenario. Let's see. Would you rather have the Patriots win a Super Bowl now and never get a Super Bowl again?
It's probably going to happen anyway.
Or have the potential to be able to win a Super Bowl?
Have the potential to win a Super Bowl. I want the legacy to live on. The dynasty continues.
I mean, the scenario is this. You have 1 year left of Brady. If the scenario happens, you have 1 year left of Brady. He potentially wins this Super Bowl. If you win this Super Bowl, y'all never win another Super Bowl again.
Potential.
Are you still go with the potential?
Yep. Jarrett Stidham's the real G. That's why we got rid of Jimmy G and that Brissett dude.
Jacoby Brissett. Yep. You got rid of all of them. You knew that Stidham was your guy.
Yep. 2 years before, when he was only a freshman at LSU. Auburn. I apologize.
There you go.
But not really.
It was at some Tiger. So many
Exactly.
fucking Tigers in the college. Seriously, you got like 3 Tigers.
Probably more than that. I can think of 3 off the top of my head.
There's 3 within the top 10 of the college? Auburn, LSU, and Clemson are within the top 10.
So you have Memphis too.
Memphis Tigers. Jesus.
There's a ton of them. It's got to be more. I'll look it up and we'll report back next week.
Yes.
How many Tigers there are in college Division I sports.
Man, that works. All right, so I feel like we're rambling on a little bit, so we're actually going to wrap it up there.
Marijuana smoking. Great marijuana smoking. Great.
Oh, yes. All right, we're going to do a closing statement before we wrap up here. Now, over this past 4 months, I haven't really been known to get hooked onto TV shows. I really tend to have time to really go and watch different shows. I usually just tend to just watch sports, and that's usually my focus. That and video games. So I don't really...
Umpiring.
And yes, that's what I say. Work. That's work. You know, bags as well. Don't forget about that. But regardless, I don't really tend to get hooked onto TV shows. But I have been watching this show, Letterkenny, and I know you fucking know this shit. Yes, it's exclusively on Hulu. Fucking.
This is not an ad.
No, it's fucking Wheel Snipe Selly boys.
Dirty fucking Dangles, boys.
Ferda. Let's go. If you get a chance to be able to watch that, it's one of the most pure Canadian satire shows that you will ever be able to get to see.
It's pretty fucking funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I honestly, at this point, like, I gotta.
Our co-host Josh is the one that actually got us into it.
Yes, and I gotta honestly thank him for getting me into it, because it's honestly one of those things where, like, I can't stop fucking watching it, and it's one of those things where, like, even though the season's over, I can honestly watch every single fucking episode over and over again and see different stuff that I didn't get to be able to see in the last time I ended up watching it.
Easy,
It's
20 minutes.
Yeah.
20-minute show. It's funny. It's a good show. You should check it out.
Oh yeah. So, Mallett, you got anything that you want to say before we head out of here?
No. It's good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Doing this again. We'll have them weekly. We'll be posting every Friday.
Oh, yeah. We'll be posting them, and you'll see those on Instagram. Catch us on SoundCloud, YouTube, MixLR. We can actually get one on MixLR as well. We'll drop the link, and we'll also be able to give you some timestamps of what will be going on in this podcast. So if there's something that you don't want to tend to be able to listen to, you can just be able to skip on over, and you can just be able to listen to what you'd want to be able to hear on this podcast. So we're going to be wrapping it up there. This was, as always, as fun as hell as it usually is. It's great to be back, and can't wait to move on forward and get this thing rolling some more.
Yeah, so. It's going to be a good little chapter in our podcast life. Absolutely.
So, for Mallett, I am the one and only Tony Lee. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We will see you next week, and until then, bye.
Roll it up. Somebody roll it up. Somebody roll it up. Somebody roll it up. Oh yeah. Spliff at the tip of me tongue. Marijuana smoke full up me lungs. Water bubble the chalice a bun. Tell the farmer fi carry a ton. Cause the water we have it a run.